Let's reflect on some of the highlights of what's been a very interesting sports year. Been a very interesting year, period. I mean, the election cycle was off the chains crazy. But pertaining to sports, we've certainly had a share of highs and lows. With that in mind, here's my list of the top 10 moments that we've had as we take a look back on the year that was. And we start number 10. How about this? Tom Brady. All right, so Tom Brady serves his 4-game suspension. That's number 10. But think about this. As crazy as it was in real time, just imagine how nuts this is going to seem when we reflect why one of the game's all-time titans was bounced for 25% of the season. Like when this comes up in 10 years and 20 years, underinflated footballs. Let that resonate once again. Underinflated footballs. Are you kidding me? Wow. And he has stuck it to the NFL ever since because he very well might win the MVP. We'll get to that a little later in the show. I'll give you my top 5 candidates right now. Number 9, this is a somber note. We lost a lot of legends. This year we lost some of the greats in the sports world. Muhammad Ali, of course, Arnie Palmer, Pat Summitt, Gordie Howe from the NHL. Not only are all 4 of these individuals incredibly accomplished, look at that. God, he was the best. But they all, look at that swing too. Arnie's Army, the galleries were popping. But they also transcended their respective sport for different reasons. Now, of course, Ali in his quest for equality, while Palmer helped usher in the TV era in golf. We watch golf now on CBS, right? And it's high priority stuff. But back in the day, it didn't translate until Arnie Palmer came along. Then it really resonated. It had a certain energy that was able to transfer from the course to the TV set. Arnie Palmer was absolutely the impetus behind that. So, 4 of the biggest names and legacies ever. They will absolutely be missed. All right, number 8. Raise your hand if you saw this one coming. Dak Prescott emerges for the Dallas Cowboys. And how great has this been, not only for the team, but think about it for the NFL. The reemergence, along with the Raiders, of a traditional league power, a marquee franchise riding the magic of a rookie, perhaps all the way to the Super Bowl. Now already they have 13 wins, so the boys were buried by everybody once Tony Romo went down this summer, and we were all 1,000% wrong. That guy that you saw throwing the ball kept him afloat, and a little more than that, he's been terrific. Number 7, how about some NBA? And how about the summer of Kevin Durant? KD taking his talents to Golden State. Now, let's be honest. This one, at least to me, and I'm a big NBA fan, as you know, was a complete stunner. No one really thought he'd willingly leave the Thunder. Maybe do like a one-year extension with an opt-out, kind of gauge where they are championship-wise and see if he can handle that relationship with Westbrook. There's a look at what he's done so far this season for the Warriors, shooting almost 54%, so the efficiency has not dropped off. But he joins forces with Steph and Klay Thompson, the 73-win Warriors. So guess that static with Westbrook wasn't really a figment of the media's imagination, huh? Still kind of getting used to seeing him in that uniform, and yes, he got fouled on that final play on Christmas Day in the loss to the Cavaliers. All right, moving on. Number 6 on my list, Leicester City, a little soccer for you, wins the Premier League. Listen, I know basically nothing about soccer except 1, it's round, and 2, you really can't use your hands unless you're the goalie. But I know an amazing accomplishment when I see one. This is basically the equivalent, I don't know, of the 1976 Bucks, or how about the 2016 Browns winning the Super Bowl? These guys were partying for weeks. Drink whatever's near you. So far off the radar of possibility, we're still not even sure that it happened, but it did. It happened, right, guys? It happened? They tell me it happened. All right, moving on, number 5. And agree or disagree with this stance, how about Colin Kaepernick absolutely finding his way onto my list, no doubt. His statement kneeling during the national anthem pregame, as much as I would never, ever, ever even entertain thinking of doing it, think about the dialogue, the raw conversation that it really forced our nation to engage in. Now, hopefully, after all the emotion and in some cases the vitriol that ensued, after that dissipates, hopefully his stance will lead to a more harmonious country. Wouldn't that be good? Certainly my hope. I'm sure it is yours as well. Number 4, how about Jay Wright's Villanova Wildcats? They actually won the NCAA championship over North Carolina, and they did so, bang, at the buzzer. Now, remember when Syracuse, look at that iconic image, Jenkins lining up, because you know it's going to rip those cords pretty soon, and here comes the celebratory, what are those things called? What do you call those things again? What's that stuff? The streamers, there you go. Now, think about when Syracuse and Louisville and a few of the other powerhouses bowed from the Big East, right? Remember that? In favor of a football money grab. Remember how everybody declared the conference dead? Well, I guess they forgot about the small, proud school in Philly. You know, the one with great academic and basketball roots, Chris Jenkins. Are you kidding me? One of the all-time great games in college hoops history. Really, think about this. Villanova's on the short list because when they beat Patrick Ewing and Villanova and Georgetown back in '85, nobody, as an 8 seed, nobody saw that coming. So when Villanova has a good season, they have an incredibly iconic, almost transcendent. They don't mess around. All right, number 3. And while it was an up and down 2015 for Peyton Manning, threw a lot of knuckleballs, he certainly kicked off 2016 in style as the aging icon. He had another Super Bowl ring to the resume, a resume that includes just about every conceivable passing record. Yeah, he was carried by a defense that harassed Cam Newton into a litany of mistakes, but at the end of the day, who cares? The sheriff leaves town in style, another chip. All right, number 2 moment of the year for me, LeBron James, the Cavs, bringing a title to the city of Cleveland. Let's be honest, there's not a single athlete, I don't care who you throw at me, that is saddled with the burdens and pressures of not only an entire franchise, but an entire city like that guy. I don't know if he had to really curse at the celebration. That was a little classless, but maybe he had some champagne. We'll give him a pass, I guess. But after spending nearly half a decade in Miami, James finally delivers for his hometown, which has to be the most gratifying type of championship. You wait, all these years, 50-plus years for Cleveland, and the guy that brings it is a guy who's from 35 miles outside of the arena, Quicken Loans Arena in Akron. That's all. And how about the defensive gem? Chasing down Andre Iguodala, banging it off the backboard. That one's seared into our minds forever. Just an iconic play by a great player. All right, finally, number 1 on the list. This one's easy. I mean, everybody can guess this at home. How about the Cubbies? Get them up. They finally reversed the curse. 108 years, and they finally win the World Series. Every Billy Goat joke can be buried, and it was done, as you knew it would be, in excruciatingly epic fashion. 7 games, a rain delay. I mean, rallies. You couldn't possibly stretch this thing out anymore, even if you're not a Cubbies fan. Not only is the story amazing, but so many of their key players, incredibly, and I've met a lot of them, incredibly likable. Rizzo, we've had Brian did our show on Tiki and Tierney on CBS Radio. He came in. I mean, you want your daughter to marry this kind of kid or your son to grow up to be like this kid. They are just good kids and great players, and after 108 years, finally champs.